Should I block my ex on social media or on my phone? My name is Coach Adrian, love and relationship coach, and so excited to be able to share this moment with you. If you're watching us on Love Advice TV on YouTube, thank you for your trust. If you're listening to us on our podcast, thank you for being a loyal subscriber. This is a very common question that I get asked in coaching sessions every single day. And if you're asking this question, it's probably a very good sign because you're thinking about your sense of well-being and happiness. You recognize that you may be triggered and you're thinking about taking steps to detach and to regain control. I also want to acknowledge that if you're asking yourself this question, it probably means that you're hurting pretty bad. Most of the individuals that ask me this question really struggle either to control their impulses and they keep reaching out, texting, calling, or checking their ex's social media, or they simply are getting triggered. They're getting triggered and it's very painful, and you realize that it's not healthy and you're ready to take a radical step, such as blocking them on social media or even blocking their phone number so that they cannot reach you and so that you cannot talk to them. It is a healthy question though, because it shows that you're focused more on your process of personal transformation than you are on a communication strategy to try to win them back very quickly. And that is a very good sign. So, in situations where you are very easily triggered, I highly recommend that you take that step. You want to protect yourself. If you know that you're going to be too vulnerable and that you're highly prone to making a mistake or texting on impulse, then yes, you want to be able to create the conditions by which you're going to be able to heal and to flourish and to move forward. And oftentimes, you need to be able to set those boundaries because you know yourself and you know that if those boundaries are not in place, you may fall back into old negative habits that led you here in the first place. In fact, blocking a significant other on your own terms can be a very powerful step. It can be the first step towards regaining control over the process of getting them back because you're choosing to pull away on your terms. It's a very different feeling when you choose to block your significant other or mute them on social media rather than when they unfriend you or when they block you. When they take that step, you oftentimes feel the same feelings of rejection that you felt at the time of the breakup. You feel powerless and you feel like things are just happening and you are reacting. Whereas when you are choosing to take that step, things are happening on your terms. Now, I am not suggesting that everyone should block their ex. If you're on good terms, if there's a good rapport, if you're under control and your feelings and emotions are not overwhelming you, then there's no reason to block them just to try to send a message. Because ultimately the point is to reconnect and to be on good terms and to be able to communicate without drama, conflict, and negativity. So if you're already there, there's no point in just blocking them for the sake of blocking them. Remember, blocking them does not mean that you will never hear from them again. It is a temporary step in order to regain control over the process. Perhaps you just found out that they were in a relationship and it becomes excruciating to be reminded on social media, in stories. And so you're choosing to mute or to block them so that you don't have to deal with that because you recognize that your mindset is your greatest ally in this process. The way that you feel about yourself, the way that you feel about the future is critical to rebuilding the right foundation and to inspiring them again. And if you're not in the right conditions, if you keep getting triggered, keep making mistakes and taking a step back, then what's the point? And that's why, under certain conditions, it is preferable to set those boundaries. I have seen situations where an ex uses my client or an individual as an emotional crutch, where they're constantly seeking reassurance and validation that they could still have the relationship back if they wanted to, and they're using that as a means to boost their ego and to reassure themselves at the expense of this poor person who is trying to heal, trying to move forward, and trying to repair the relationship the right way. And if you feel like you're in this type of situation, then it can be beneficial for you to block your significant other. Now, in some cases, if you guys have been on good terms, it's okay for you to say, hey, I don't think we should talk for a little while. I need to heal and I need to work on myself before blocking them. So that way you don't feel weird about all of a sudden just, erasing them from your life temporarily. In other cases, you don't owe them a justification over your actions. You can choose to engage with them or not. Of course, when you have children together, when your lives are still intertwined administratively or through a pet, or because you've really been together a very long time, it can be more challenging. But it is okay for you to block them on one platform and to continue to communicate with them on another. If you're triggered by their social media activity, you can block or mute while continuing to text or email in order to deal with practical matters of how you're going to handle, the children, for example, in situations where you're co-parenting. The point that I'm trying to make is that you can pick and choose where you block them and make sure that there's a valid reason for that it's thought out, that it's not just an emotional, impulsive reaction in the moment of weakness. Remember that if you are indeed very much in control over your feelings and your emotions, it is not necessary to block them just for the sake of blocking them. Ultimately, we're just trying to prepare you to be able to be in the best condition possible, in the best mindset possible, to re-engage with them in a healthy way. For some of you, you're already in that phase of the process of reconnection. And so perhaps some of these tips won't apply to you. But for others that are still really struggling, this is definitely something that you may want to consider. As always, I encourage you to take a step back and to try to assess how you are doing, how you are feeling. Are you easily triggered? Are you afraid of making mistakes? Or do you feel stronger again? That can help you determine how you're going to engage and how you're going to pull away. We have free trainings, different free trainings on no contact, on how to maximize your chances of getting an ex back, on how to handle long distance breakup recovery, many free trainings. Some are live, some are in the form of hidden videos, and I encourage you to check them out because it will enable you to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to continue to deepen your understanding of this process of yourself and how to communicate effectively with your significant other. One of those free trainings will be available in the description of this video on YouTube. And so I encourage you to check it out. As always, thank you for your trust. I am Coach Adrian, delighted to be able to be on this journey with you. Take good care and see you soon.